Welcome to Exhausted Reviews. My name is EddieX, and this is my video series where I drive, experience, and review enthusiast cars. And today we have the keys to this, a 10-year-old Mercedes S65 AMG, a proper twin-turbo V12 powered flagship Mercedes luxury sedan. When this thing was new, it cost nearly $250,000, but now, a decade later, depreciation has done its thing, and it costs a mere fraction of what it was when new. This is essentially a 75% off flagship Mercedes luxury sedan. Now, in terms of the hierarchy of S-classes, you had the regular S-classes, then the S63 AMG, and at the very top, the S65. 65 for Mercedes would denote the twin-turbo V12. They would put this powertrain in a couple different models. You have the S65, there's an SL65, there's even a G65 AMG. And around this time, they also introduced the Maybach version. Now, it no longer was its own separate brand and vehicle line. Instead, Maybach became this like super luxury version of the S-Class. But if you're looking for the perfect blend of luxury and performance, the S65 is the king. This is actually not my friend John's first S65 AMG. He had a coupe previously, but he wanted the four-door experience, so he sold that one, bought this one, but now this one is actually also for sale because he wants to move on to other V12 powered things. So after watching this video, if you're interested in purchasing this S65 AMG, definitely leave a comment below, send me an email or message me on Instagram, and we'll get you connected. All right, so the powertrain. We have a 6-liter twin-turbo V12, a proper AMG engine. So assembled by hand, one man, one engine. You get the name on the plaque on the engine cover. And power, there is a lot of it. 621 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's paired to a 7-speed automatic transmission, and it's only available in rear-wheel drive, which is a difference compared to the S63 AMGs because those were all-wheel drive and they got paired with some newer transmissions. They were quicker 0 to 60, but this thing is still no slouch. 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds for a rear-wheel drive 5,000-pound luxury sedan. That is plenty quick. But now, how does this compare to the brand new top-of-the-line S-Class AMG? Well, the S63 AMG is now the top one. It's an e-performance model, so it's hybridized. And the power number has grown to a staggering level, 791 horsepower and 1,055 pound-feet of torque. But I think the big takeaway is no matter which S-Class AMG you buy, you are never, ever going to have a shortage of power and torque. The styling. So I think this generation of the S-Class is aging beautifully. That being said, the mid-cycle update to the W222 does look a little bit more modern with updates to the headlights and other tweaks, but this one still just is so classy and it looks properly expensive. We have the Mercedes hood ornament up front, and as a 65 AMG, there are actually rather subtle tweaks versus the 63. It doesn't scream over the top that it has a V12 from a styling standpoint. We have the chrome mesh up front here. Of course, the V12 bi-turbo badges. Out back, you have the quad outboard trapezoidal AMG exhaust tips, a couple more badges. This one is on aftermarket forged Vossen wheels, but the factory wheels are included. But overall, when you just look at this thing, it still looks like a proper flagship Mercedes luxury S-Class. It does not look like that it's 10 years old. Like if if you pull up to a fancy restaurant, a fancy hotel de valet, you're still probably getting parked up front in this thing. The interior. Of course, it is going to be extremely nice on a top-tier S-Class. We have tons of quilted Napa leather. This one is finished in black on black. The AMG door sill plate, and then we have the metal Burmester speaker grills, which look amazing and sound amazing. I love the little tweeter up here. The two-spoke steering wheel was a unique thing for this generation of S-Class. The AMG badge down there, and then we have paddle shifters. I'll talk more about the double digital display screens when we're driving. We also have the AMG logo embossed on the center armrest, and this still has an IWC dash clock, which is really cool. This one is a sedan, so let's check out the rear seat. More quilted leather everywhere. You could option these with the executive rear seat package. You can have a champagne fridge. They really let you option these things up like crazy. And like I mentioned, John used to own a coupe version of the S65 AMG, which has back seats. They're not quite as spacious, comfortable, and usable. So if you want to chauffeur people in luxury and speed in the back seat of your S-Class, you're going to want to get the sedan configuration. Weird quirk on this one. All of the trim should be black, like on the back of the seat here, but for some reason on the driver's seat it's got the brown wood trim. It was like this when John purchased this vehicle and he just never got around to changing it, so not sure why that one is mismatched, but that would be a very easy thing to change. All right, we grabbed the owner, John.
Hello.
Your second S65 AMG.
Yeah, I had the coupe version of this prior.
What was the reason? You wanted actual four doors, right? Like a full-size back seat.
Yeah. Setting up the child seat in the coupe got old real fast. That was the reason.
So swap, but you wanted the V12 still.
Yes, I still wanted the V12.
So what has it been like to own your, not first, but second S65 AMG?
It's really good. I do like it. Although I think I like the Ghost a little more, so that's probably the one I'm going to target next.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to. You're moving on to other V12 things. You want even more baller of big luxury sedan.
You know, okay, so in a vacuum, as we're driving along this road's not bad, but it's a comfortable ride.
Yes.
It's an S-Class, right?
Yes.
But a Rolls Royce makes everything else feel like a work truck by comparison.
That's so...
Like Range Rover, S-Class, 7 Series.
Oh my gosh.
Audi A8, doesn't matter. It feels like a work truck compared to a Rolls Royce.
You buy a Rolls Royce Dawn and now you're just ruined.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So is that the only reason why you want to get rid of this?
Well, you know, overall, I try to maintain like a workable number of cars in the fleet. Once it gets too high and I find I just don't have time to drive certain cars, it's time to move on. And you know, the M5 Touring just came in this past week, so something's got to go.
Yes, you are indeed correct. A workable number of cars in the fleet.
Yeah.
But let's focus back on the S65.
Sure. Yeah.
What has the sedan been like to own?
Really good, actually.
Yeah.
Mechanically, rock solid. Not a single thing has gone wrong. You know, maintenance has been expensive, as expected with like older AMG V12.
So you've had it for how long?
A little under a year.
Little under a year, so call it a year.
Yeah.
You put 5,000 miles on it.
Yep.
It's at 32,000 miles on it now. In that 1 year of ownership, what was ballpark maintenance cost? Obviously going independent shop, not dealer.
Right, I want to say about $3,000 and change.
Okay,
yeah.
That's actually not, I mean, it's a lot, but it's not catastrophic $20,000 that everybody makes it out to be.
Yeah, and honestly, the big ticket item was one of the power amps for the sound system failed, and that was honestly the big ticket item. Yeah.
Burmester letting us down.
Yeah.
So, but that obviously is something to consider, because when you buy this thing, there's a reason why it's so depreciated.
Right.
Almost $250,000 when new, and now it's a fraction of that because stuff is going to cost money.
And just keep in mind, it's 12 cylinders, so when you do spark plugs, when you do things like that, it's just, the parts are expensive, and it's the sheer volume of
There's
parts.
more of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everything will end up costing quite a lot more. But you, between the two S65s, haven't encountered anything. My goodness.
Nothing majorly
nothing
catastrophic,
nightmare.
like the transmission blew or the engine grenaded. No, nothing like that.
I imagine, because you get them with still relatively lower miles for a 10-year-old car. If you're talking 80, 90, 100,000 mile
that's
maybe.
A different
That's a
story.
different ballpark, right?
That's a different story.
Yeah, you just have to budget for that.
Yeah.
You're thinking about that. This versus the coupe. How do you feel after ownership of both?
I think the coupe has a certain, just with the styling, has a certain kind of vibe that's different from this. But I do find this to be more practical. Like I said, having 4 doors, and this has the executive seat package too. So if you're back there, you can put your footrest up. I think it's only in the.
I think it's on this side.
Right, it's on the passenger side because obviously
VIP
you can't squish the driver against the steering wheel. You need you can scooch this seat up and then you can put your footrest up in that seat, which is really nice.
At no point did you think about 63? Are you just a V12 elitist now? Multiple V12s in the garage? You're like, ah.
Well, if you want to fast forward to things that I don't like about this car, there are some V12 quirks that I don't like.
Do it. Let's jump. That's the juicy stuff. That's the fun stuff.
All right. So this motor is very good. It has a certain. Well, I'll get the good stuff out of the way first. So when you're on the freeway, and let's say you're going 70,
yes,
and for some reason, let's say you want to go from 70 to 150.
Oh yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, on the Autobahn.
Right. Let's say you're on the Autobahn,
or Mexico,
right?
Yeah.
Right, or Mexico. Yeah. You want to go from 70 to 150. This thing will get you there in a way that's kind of cop.
Yep. We did not do 70 or 150. We're doing 55.
In a way, that's like hard to fathom. Like it feels like you're in a jet, like you're in a Gulfstream that's kind of like hurtling towards the horizon. That's what this motor feels like. It's unbelievable because it has like what 738 pound-feet of torque, which is insane.
That's a lot.
It's absolutely insane, and it gets you there in such a smooth and kind of like just really. It's like it's good and bad. It's kind of like the opposite of Ferrari V12, where it's like screaming its head off and it's revving. Like just
there's no power below 5,000 RPM.
Right, hurtling towards the rev.
Yeah,
but so this feels like a jet. It's awesome. But one of the quirks about it that I've discovered is that this is the absolute, by far, not even close, the longest to warm up engine I've ever experienced.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Especially if you have it out in the winter, like late fall or winter, when it's a little cold outside. Oh my God, does it take so long to warm up. And the transmission also feels kind of broken before it warms up.
Oh.
Like the shifts are just very rough. Like let's say it's about 38 degrees outside in as it tends to be in Michigan for long
most
periods.
of the year.
Right, exactly. And you have this thing parked outside, right? Or even in the garage. You fire it up. You gotta go somewhere. So let's say you give the engine like a minute to warm up, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You're like, okay, I gotta go. So you shift into gear, you set off, and then that 1 to 2 gear shift, you're like, oh my God, the car's broken.
Really?
Yeah, it's rough. It's
interesting.
It's really rough before things warm up.
Okay.
And it takes forever to warm up.
But do you feel the same thing in the coupe?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just this. It's not like this one.
Yeah,
no problem.
Both the transmission and the engine take forever. By far, it's like the longest to warm up out of any car I've ever owned.
So like the rolls doesn't take that long.
No. And actually BMW motors are because I've had M5s, a couple of M5s, M3s. Typically in a BMW M V8. Couple of minutes, it's good to go.
Yeah. Here's another question.
Yeah.
Now that you've experienced this, would you have paid the new price?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so you don't think that the price of depreciation is worth it?
No, and and the coupe as well. I paid, quite frankly, about a third of the sticker for both of these cars, and I can't imagine being the first owner and having this for however long and saying, oh, by the way, 2/3 of your investment is now just gone, just vaporized.
And like 20,000 miles.
Yeah.
The cost per mile is terrifying in these kind of cars.
Right.
So, but
you want to be the second owner, even third owner. It's just where there's a sweet spot, right? Because you don't want to be the fourth or fifth owner because at a certain point, all the stuff that makes these cars special, like the the really special drivetrain, all the electronics, and creature comforts, that stuff starts breaking down, and then the value. I mean, I think to a certain extent, it's still worth it if you assuming everything doesn't go completely wrong at once. There's still value there, but but if you're kind of like a value conscious fifth owner, that could be an issue, and you definitely got to take that into account.
I think it's only getting worse. Like, I just spent a week with that S63 Performance. Amazing. But I'm reading about how it's got this, like, gear set doing this thing and this electronic, blah, 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 all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, when that car is 10 years old, it's going to be a nightmare. This V12 transmission pairing
Yeah.
is pretty tried and true. They've run this thing in a lot of different things,
And
and
there's
yeah,
at
it's
least
got
there's at
bells and
least
whistles.
physical buttons,
That's
which
also
I like. 'Cause,
true.
you know, the new M5 Touring that I just took delivery of.
Yeah.
This whole door is like one haptic strip. You know,
Yeah.
so like lock, unlock,
It's all a little touchy.
you know, the lock, unlock, memory. Everything is just on this one strip. It's a big touchscreen, and I don't know if in 10 years that thing is gonna hold up.
Nah, I don't. I think this is the nice balance. We have
Yeah.
enough tech. I think the mid-cycle update to the W222 is the sweet spot.
Yeah, plus
Yeah,
the styling too. I just
Yeah.
love the styling of the W222.
So if you weren't bitten by the Rolls-Royce bug,
Yeah,
do you think you would have kept this one?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so. Yeah.
It's enough that you like it enough that you would have kept it.
It's just a great car, and
Mhm.
for the money, it's really good. I just noticed they paved this road that we're on.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
I
excellent.
came down here the other day in the Lotus. I'm like, oh, it's nice and smooth.
This is excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
Very, very nice.
Anyway,
Um,
yeah, so that's an aside.
And you do think it's worth more than the S63 because we live in Michigan.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive would be nice. Newer
Okay.
transmission, quicker, 0 to 60.
So I did put winter tires on it. You know, all things being equal, winter tires are worth more than all-wheel drive, in
yeah.
my opinion.
All-wheel drive with bad tires is all-wheel spin. That's what I love saying.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But having said that, you do have to kind of, even in comfort mode, you got to kind of go easy a little bit because this thing's just putting a lot to the rear wheel. So when it's slippery and you're trying to set off in kind of like icy slush, you got to be very gentle on the throttle with this thing. Even on winter tires, you got to be.
So S65
careful.
winter beater, not necessarily recommend.
I did use it as a winter beater this past winter. I did.
Oh my goodness! I mean, that's yeah.
I'm trying to remember why I did that. Why did I not have a winter? No, this was just my winter car this past year.
What?
Yeah.
This was your actual winter car this year?
Yes, I put the winter tires on it, and away we go.
Okay. Well, I mean,
It worked. It worked fine.
so you get to check the box of owning S65 Coupe, S65 Sedan.
Uh-huh.
Enjoyable, you love them, but you're selling it because the only reason is because Rolls-Royce exists.
Rolls-Royce exists. I just took delivery of an M5 Touring, so there's kind of
Too much overlap.
Yeah, there's kind of an abundance of four-door luxury cars at the house at the moment.
What problems to have. When I grow up, I want to be like John. Well, thank you very much for letting me take a spin, and we'll get this thing sold. So if you're interested, leave a comment below,
Yep.
and you can have a heavily depreciated but still very, very nice S65 AMG.
Yeah, I think it's you're getting a lot of car for the money, just a lot of car.
Getting a lot of cylinders and torque for the money, and massage seats. Why? I've been using massage seats this whole time.
Yeah, I don't know why you have.
Rookie error, rookie error. All right, the first thing to do is turn on my massage seats and let's go for a drive in the S65 AMG. Oh, you feel that torque. It's very interesting how there's such different personalities of V12s. You have the ultra luxurious V12s, usually turbocharged in cars like this, the BMW 7 Series, Audi with the W12, not that they do that anymore, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, and then you have the screaming supercar V12s and Lamborghinis, Ferraris, just completely different personalities when you have 12 cylinders. These are tuned for torque. Smooth torque. It's supposed to be subtle, just in the background. I mean, it redlines at essentially 6,000 RPM, which is where some of those other more exotic supercar V12s are just starting to get going. But the amount of torque this thing makes, my goodness. Holy crap. Yeah, that's fast. That's really, really fast. And that's where the S65 differs itself from the S63. Once this thing is rolling, this is the fast one. You want the 63 for the more around town, off the red light, the launch control. That's where that's really fast, because all-wheel drive, you have the same torque kind of down low leaving, but the S65 shines. This is the flagship Autobahn cruiser. There's nothing like a V12 when you're just starting to roll, and V12s are smoother. They're intrinsically just a little more balanced, and it just makes everything feel effortless. Now, this one does have an aftermarket exhaust on it, so from the outside, it actually sounds a bit more aggressive. I have heard this from outside, but on the inside, S-classes are so isolated that you don't really hear it. There's just a very distant rumble in the in the background there with a V12. Now let's talk a little bit more about the interior. This is, like I said, very, very nice. But again, as a 65, it does not necessarily differentiate itself from a well-optioned 63. This one has all the piano black wood trim, the cross-stitching across the dash, a little bit on the doors. The seats are extremely comfortable. S-Class seats are fabulous. They are so perfectly bolstered. They fit you so well. They're comfortable. You could do hours and hours in an S-Class and not have any fatigue. Not only because you have massage, but let's just say you take a turn, right? The outside bolster, opposite of the way you're turning, kind of holds you, actually the inside one. So if you're taking a right turn, it props you up. You're taking a left turn, it props you up, right? So you don't have to strain yourself, kind of holding yourself up. It just makes the experience so nice. Now, when you go from a regular S-Class to an AMG S-Class, you are going to have a little bit of sacrifice in terms of the ride because they're trying to make this thing handle well for its size. It's still an executive, long wheelbase, massive luxury sedan, but they add in all sorts of fancy things to the air suspension, you try anti-roll and previewing the road. So it's all the electronic and mechanical trickery plus the tuning to make this thing handle but still ride well. Is it going to be as floaty and wafty as a regular S-Class or a Maybach? No, it will not. You are making a little bit of sacrifice, but then you have the ability to take turns at speeds that you shouldn't in a vehicle in this segment, and that's what AMGs really excel at. Now, when you're speaking practically, are you getting that much more when you go to the V12 than you are with a twin-turbo V8? No, we were playing the game of diminishing returns, especially when these things were new. They were so much more expensive. Even now, there is going to be a price delta, but there's just something about having the V12, the 65 AMG, just that subtle, if you know, you know. I have a twin-turbo V12, and it's at rarefied air, right? What else has a 12-cylinder luxury sedan? I mean, Bentleys, Rolls-Royce, the top, literally the top tier. This is the peak. So values. What are S65s worth these days? Well, brand new, we mentioned, I mean, they're $220-ish starting price, and you can start checking boxes for options. You know, refrigerator for champagne in the back, you got night vision, you got upgraded Burmester sound system, the executive rear seat package, colors, paints. You could order these matte paint finishes. Like, it's an S-Class, right? So you can tack on lots of options. So call it, we'll say $250,000, $250,000 one of these things. Now we're 10 years later. How much are they going for? Well, one's from like this generation, $60,000 to $80,000 depending on miles. Really low mile ones, and then the refresh ones are still in the hundreds, and there's that like final ultimate edition one. Those are quite a bit more rare and expensive. But like a car like this with 30,000 miles on it, $70,000. What do you get when you buy $70,000 new today? Like, just take a look at the car marketplace. Average new cars are 50 grand. So you do get a lot for your money. That brand new S63 I was driving was like $230,000, and you're getting at least 80% of the experience with a car like this, with the massive caveat is set aside a bunch of money for service and maintenance, because you would rather have that and not touch it than all of a sudden be in trouble because your car needs $5,000, $10,000 for something and you don't have it. I do still think the sweet spot is still getting these cars maybe 3 to 4 years old, certified pre-owned, even extended warranty. You can possibly extend that even further. I've done that a couple times with some of these higher end German cars. My RS7 was like that. My Audi A8L was like that. My wife's Porsche Macan is like that right now. But this is obviously way far out of warranty, long gone from that. So you are the warranty now. I think isn't that what Tavares says? That's one of his slogans, right? I am the warranty. So you either going to want to work on it yourself or have a shop available for working on this car for you. Let's see what kind of fuel economy this thing. Okay, we've done 14.9 mpg today, and the lifetime is 13.6 mpg over the last 5,500 miles. Yeah, V12s are going to be thirsty, very thirsty. 253 miles, 250 literally just dropped as we're looking at it, with 75% of a fuel tank remaining. Some final thoughts on the S65 AMG versus competitors. Some of the competitors actually come within the Mercedes S-Class family, right? You could cross-shop this with an S63 AMG. You could cross-shop this with a Maybach. The S63 is also a tremendously special car. I personally, living in Michigan, my preference, I like the fact that it's all-wheel drive, slightly newer transmission, and maybe because I'm not in the tax bracket where I require having a V12 sedan in the garage, I'm totally okay with the twin-turbo V8. I think that is a fantastic, fantastic daily driver sedan. I really do love the S63. The S65 is when you want that little bit extra, because your neighbors all have 63 AMGs. You go, well, I've got the V12, so I win at the country club, right? So it's not necessarily a rational, like, objectively, it can win in these number of ways when you're driving it every day as your daily driver. Compared to the Maybach, the Maybach is maybe if you want to get chauffeured. That's ultra luxury. The rear seat on the Maybach is nice. This one is nice with the executive rear seat, but Maybach is the next level. Now, A8 had a W12. They haven't been doing that in the newer ones, and the recent one's gone. BMW with the 760 Li of this iteration, those are pretty rare too. Those are pretty special, and also I like that Generation 7 series. I spent some time with one, was definitely impressed. It felt maybe a little bit more techie leaning than the S-Class. I feel like this is a little more timeless, classy with the curving swoops here across the interior, whereas the 7 series was just a little bit more in your face with the technology, but also phenomenal. And the latest generation that's gone, the technical replacement for the V12 7 Series is the i7 M70, whatever the top tier electric one is. We spent a week with that one with the theater screen in the back, and it was also impressive, but all electric, and that's not a twin turbo V12. You go up a tier, you're talking used Bentley Continental Flying Spur, a used Rolls-Royce Ghost. The Bentley and Rolls are in a different level of brand prestige, because when somebody sees this, yes, it's a Mercedes, and the CLA also has a Mercedes logo on it. Obviously, this is the top tier one, but you're talking a Bentley and a Rolls-Royce. I think the tech and driving experience is going to be really nice in this compared to a used, like, older Ghost or a Bentley. The previous generation Bentleys were so front engine, like the entire W12 was in front of the axle, so they just understeered catastrophically. They're very nice. The latest generation ones are super, super amazing, but they're also going to be much more expensive. You're not getting a newer Bentley Continental or Rolls-Royce Ghost for $70,000. So you're getting a lot of car for your money with this thing. If I were spending my own money, I hate to say it, I'd still go for the S63. That's just my personal preference, and I personally would, and actually probably end up with the coupe right now, because I don't need a back door. I don't need full 4-door sedan, even though that's kind of the traditional what you think about with this thing, because I love the way the S63 coupe looks. But if you want the peak V12 AMG, to say you have a V12 AMG, there are not many of these out there. I rarely see any sort of 65 AMG, and it's always a nice little treat, like, ooh, that thing is cool. But there we go, a quick review of the S65 AMG. Again, this car is for sale. If you would like to purchase this specific S65, it has been taken care of. It's a very, very nice spec. I mean, black on black, it works. That's a lot of these cars are like this. Would I love a green over tan or a cool blue or something wild? Absolutely. But, you know, this is the traditional S-Class look that you see VIPs all over the world being chauffeured and driven around in. This one is available for sale. It's been maintained, taken care of. It's got the aftermarket wheels, but also the factory chrome wheels, the multi-spoke 65 AMG wheels. It's got some PPF on it. It's got the exhaust on it to wake up that V12 a little bit, but it's not over the top. Like, I can hear it, but it doesn't ruin the whole luxury experience. Burmester upgraded sound system. That's definitely nice. Yeah. Wouldn't be sad to see this go from John's collection, but I mean, the odds are he's going to replace it with something that's even more epic. Hope you guys enjoyed this video of the S65 AMG. I certainly hope I burned 25% of the fuel tank today just filming this. Increase your fuel budget if you're going to buy this car, but it'll be worth it. Thanks for watching.